be able to present the 2011 new unit program to you today. Of course, if you have any questions at any point, I think you can just fill this in terms of the viewing screen, and you can just let us know, and we can follow up. So I'm just going to jump right into it, and we have a lot to cover today. There we go. As a part of the program, it's quite different than what we've done in years previous. We have really taken in a lot of feedback that the registrar community has given to us to think about how we can deliver on campaigns better throughout the year. So we really want to take the opportunity to think about how our business objectives align with your business objectives and your strategy, but also be able to build in a level of flexibility so that as we make these programs available to you, you can then in turn make them work based on the program timing and the promotional timing that works best for your business objectives. As always, we really want to be seen as a strategic partner for your businesses overall. And we're going to continue to look for input and feedback as we move through 2011 post of launch of the program. And if you have any additional feedback, we're always welcome to hear that. It just so happens that this is a great time to be walking through this program as the deadline for enrollment is tomorrow. So if you haven't looked at the paperwork yet and you still need to, please make sure that you do and get it back to us. Of course, for this year, we're also going to be looking at a couple of different things and build on some learning that we had throughout 2010. And I'll be going through some of that information. But really what that means is that we're going to be developing a host of assets for you to be able to leverage in conjunction with the new unit program overall. And this is intended to make it easier for you to launch and implement the campaigns, as well as provide you with messaging and creative in a digital asset format so that you don't have to try to put that together yourself. It should be ready to go as a turnkey solution. So as you're ready and in the middle of your marketing promotional time period, you can make these make the creative available and work for you by dropping in your logo, dropping in an offer, and all of the messaging and all of the creative is done. So at the end of the day, as we think about the 2011 program, there should be a lot of thought and alignment built into the program to make sure that we're aligning with your business strategies, allow you the flexibility to leverage the creative that we're making available to you, as well as the new unit programs to leverage when you want to actually deliver these campaigns, and then also be responsive to make sure that we are listening to what it is that works best for you so that we can continually make these programs better. So looking back as far as 2010, we've had a very busy year this year, and I want to thank you and congratulate you on a job well done across all of the different campaigns that we've put together. And it's been a learning opportunity for us as we've delivered on 8 months of new unit rebate programs this year. And we've also tried to think about how we can build on the business, not just from incremental units, which is always a vital component of this, but also looking at how do we create more sustainable business. So as we're thinking about how do we create longer-term business for both you and ourselves, we have that opportunity as we're reaching out and promoting directly to current registrants and potential registrants. So one of the things that we did earlier this year was to look at how we could build in different components to the new unit program to incent different ways for you to be communicating to your registrant base. The first of which was a renewal incentive to think about how to increase first-time renewals. And then for April and May, we included an incentive for multi-year registrations. Now, I think that the struggle that we had, quite frankly, is that we didn't give you a lot of time in order to think about how to execute on these different components of the campaign, and that's something that we really took to heart. So we're very happy that we're launching the 2011 program much earlier than we typically have done in the past, so that you're able to really think about the strategy of building in these extra components and incentives as you think about when you're going to be launching your new unit programs. In addition, we also included digital assets for the April-May time period of the new unit program to celebrate the 25th anniversary of .com this year. So this is the first time that we had provided assets like this. One of the things that we also did was we localized the assets in 9 different languages. Moving forward, as we continue to develop the messaging for the creative tools that we'll make available to you, is that we will continue to localize these materials and make them available through the VeriSign Customer Center. We see this as a crucial component in really enabling you to leverage these assets. And if there are different languages that we need to be considering, please let us know what those are. We also had a marketing development fund where we were looking for input on how we could be more creative with different promotions in different regions. And from this, we have a lot of really good learning, and we're going to be building this learning into some different MDF programs throughout 2011. And we also had a very strong international focus in 2010. Now, I wouldn't say that we hit on all cylinders with that. We had some great learning, and I think that there are things that we've taken from those experiences and built them into the programs that we have for 2011 to make them even better. And as we continue to look forward past 2011, it'll make the programs even stronger for 2012 and beyond. So what I've mentioned already is the 25th anniversary of .com. One of the things that we did to celebrate the 25th anniversary was a contest in North America for howdoyou.com. And this was a consumer-focused contest where we invited people to come in and to tell their stories of how .com has affected their lives. And we had over 2,000 submissions and a number of different views coming in as a component for people to vote on which were their most favorite stories. And it was a really interesting experience to be able to see how impactful .com has been in people's lives. We're going to be taking the components of this idea and carrying it forward in 2011, but instead of a focus on the consumer, we're really going to focus on the small business customer. Throughout a lot of different research that we've done this year with end users, both consumer and small businesses, as well as with research that we've done directly with the registrar base, is that we've learned that small businesses really seem to be the sweet spot in terms of an opportunity for us to focus on collectively as we generate or as we create our demand generation plans and leverage our marketing assets. So with that, we'll be kicking off another contest focused on the small business community, and it will not be just available in North America, but we will also have different regions participating as well, and I'll cover that in just a few minutes. Of course, as I mentioned, we have learned from the opportunities this year of localizing all of the different assets, and we did that for the 25th anniversary of .com and howdoyou.com, and we'll continue to do that. We also took a step back this year and looked at the reseller base, and as VeriSign is the registry, we don't typically go out directly to resellers. We always work with our registrars to make sure that the resellers have what they need. But what we did this year is we did some research both with registrars who have resellers as their primary business model, and then with the resellers directly to understand what their needs were, how they promote, and what we could do as a registry to help registrars make information available to resellers. And we learned quite a bit in terms of that resellers were really looking for more educational material as far as the products and services that a registry offers like VeriSign. as well as information on how to position different products and services, and then also having these digital assets, as I mentioned before, that they can pick up and leverage right away, that they can include their branding on, and then also put in their different promotional offers. So great learning this year. We've taken a lot of this information in, and we know that we've done some good things, but we also know that there's a lot more that we can do. So for 2011, one of the things that we're going to really be focusing on 5 key elements for 2011. And as we start building in and reviewing these different programs, I can really say that this 2011 program has been the most ambitious program that we've developed internally to date, and we're really excited about it. So with previous new unit programs, we've typically focused on specific periods of time throughout the year, and it's been without a lot of notice, as I mentioned before, up front for the registrars to take advantage of or to build out extended offers for those programs. So now you're going to have a view for the entire year of when we'll be offering the new unit programs. And this is all a part of the Refine the Unit rebate program that we've developed. So as a part of having the visibility throughout the entire year, we're going to be building in some of the key learnings that I mentioned a few minutes ago, such as how do we start building out that more sustainable business and really focusing in on long-term customers. And we would like to reward you as focusing on those long-term customers with an incentive built into the new unit program that we'll be talking about, and you'll get more information on in just a few minutes. In addition to that, we are including a component where you'll have the opportunity to pick 2 months out of the entire year for you to choose what's going to be the best promotional time for you. So rather than just having all fixed time periods, this will be an opportunity for you to say, this will be the 2 months that will be the most advantageous for us to focus on, and let us know what those are, and we'll work with you to help make that successful. And then also, as a part of this broader launch that we're doing for 2011 and having the full year available up front, this really should simplify the participation overall. So rather than sending out multiple terms and conditions throughout the year for separate program time periods, what we're doing now is we've got all of the information posted and available for you on the VeriSign Customer Center now. And once you sign up, you're signed up for the entire year, and you don't have to come back and do it again. So we've really tried to keep it or make it as simple as possible, as clear as possible as well, to have maximum participation, flexibility, and really help to support you with the efforts that you have to look at building your business. In addition to the new unit program, we're focusing on some opportunities where we're going to be creating demand generation, focusing primarily on .com and .net, with a strong emphasis on .net in the first half of the year. So we're going to be doing a number of different activities where we are going to be advertising directly to the end user, again with a focus on small businesses, with messaging clearly defined and directed towards those small businesses who have either not signed up for a TLD before or registered a domain name before, or they're looking to extend their brand by registering new domain names. So this will be an opportunity for you to leverage this messaging and the toolkits that we'll make available to you, and it really should help to increase the ROI overall when it's coupled with the new unit program time periods. We'll also have new marketing development fund programs, one of which will be tied directly to small and medium businesses for a program that we'll be launching in the 1st of March. And that will be focused on both .com and .net. And then in the next few weeks, you'll also be hearing about an MDF program focused primarily on .tv. We will have submissions that will be available regionally, so there'll be a great opportunity to be thinking creatively of how you can promote both .com and .net as well as .tv in the coming months. In addition to the research that we did with our resellers, we really are focusing on how we can provide to resellers and to you to provide to your resellers information. So as I mentioned before, they're looking for education as well, education materials as well as promotional materials. So with all of these materials, we'll be localizing all of them. We're creating a new reseller resource center on the VeriSign website. It's a new website that's launching on December 16th. But also we'll be making these digital assets available to you for you to brand on your own so that you can post to your digital website for your resellers, or you can send out electronically to your resellers as well. All of this is really intended to make them more aware of the different programs and the different information that we have available for the resellers. And then in addition to all of these things that we're going to be working on, we also have regional programs really focused on the regions in EMEA, India, China, and Latin America, and Brazil and Mexico specifically, where we're really doing some very focused activities in those regions. So I would encourage you to keep in touch with us in terms of those different activities. So these would be incremental opportunities above and beyond the new unit program, as well as the demand generation and marketing development funds for you to take advantage of. So let's go into a little bit deeper dive into the new unit programs. So as I mentioned, this is a revamped program, and we are going to be focusing on some key parts of this. So first of all, we are going to have a primary focus on driving incremental units as we look at year-over-year growth. In addition to that, we're going to be setting this up where we have two static time periods for the program. The first time period is in Q1, January through March, and then again in September, October, and November. Between the months of April and August, this will be the time for you to choose 2 consecutive months when it is most opportune for you to run a program, a new unit program. So you can choose April and May, July, August, whatever works best for you. And of course, these programs with the static and flexible time periods are available for .com and .net. For .tv, for the first time, we will be including .tv as a part of the new unit program, and the time period is a little bit different than .com and .net. For .tv, the new unit program will be February, March, and April, and then the second will be July, August, and September. Now the good news is that with .com, .net, and .tv, where the time periods might be a little bit different, the architecture of the programs will remain the same. So you don't have to think about these as separate programs. And in fact, if you haven't already, with the terms and conditions is included addendums, one for .com and .net and one for .tv, so that you can look specifically at the time periods and the baseline and first-time renewal information as it applies to each top-level domain. As a part of this, as I mentioned before, as we're looking at how do we really build out the program and focusing on that sustainable business. Now, in addition to looking at the year-over-year growth with incremental new units, we'll also be building in a metric that is looking at first-time renewals for each of these TLDs as a component of the rebate structure. So what we've done is we sent out an announcement in August where we said that we were going to start monitoring the first-time renewal rates from September 1st through December 31st. At that point, we will take a benchmark of where each individual first-time renewal rate is by the registrar. And then with that, we'll say, okay, if this is your benchmark at this period of time, you also have the opportunity through the first program time period of January, February, and March to increase your first-time renewal rate, and then we'll lock in that first-time renewal rate on March 31st. So there's two key components to the new unit program: the first-time renewal rate benchmark, and then, of course, your baseline for new units. So let's talk a little bit about how the reward program works. So I wanted to first start with the continuing elements of what you're probably used to from the years prior. So we will have the baseline, as I mentioned, so that we will be looking at incremental units, and we will be focused on the year-over-year baseline. So if you think about for the Q1 new unit program time period, your baseline will be Q1 of 2010 actuals. So it's very easy to look at where it is that your actual is in order to determine what your baseline is for Q1 of 2011. If you don't have this information available to you at hand, you can always visit the VeriSign Customer Center, and where you will see your scorecard and you will see this information. In addition to that, to the baseline, we'll be looking at reward tiers. So this is where you can increase the rebate eligibility by increasing the incremental units that you have, and we'll be setting that against the reward tiers that we've built out into the program and that you'll see in just a minute. We'll also continue to have a financial cap associated with each of the program time periods, and that will be $750,000. And we will also have a minimum baseline. But the change is for this year, or for 2011, is that where we've had a 5,000 minimum unit baseline in programs prior to 2011, we are now changing that baseline, the minimum baseline, to 1,000 units. And just to make sure everybody's clear with that piece, it is 1,000 units for COM, 1,000 units for .NET. For the new elements of 2011, we've got the incentive piece for first-time renewals. So as I mentioned before, this is intended to really encourage sustainable business and looking at those longer-term renewals and helping you and giving you the right tools and resources in order to really focus on first-time renewals. Because we do know that once we have a registrant that renews for the first time, there's a higher likelihood of renewal in subsequent years. So again, I went through the program in terms of how we will be benchmarking the first-time renewal. I will run through a couple of scenarios in just a few minutes where this will probably make a little bit more sense. We'll also have an eligible domains cap. So earlier this year, we had instituted a baseline cap or eligible domains cap as a graduated cap. This year, we are going to make that the same across all registrars, and this is a 200% eligible domains cap, which means that once you reach your baseline, you're at 100%, and then you can grow another 100% during that program time period before you reach the cap. We also have the flexible timing. I've already mentioned this is the 2 months of consecutive months that you can choose between April and May. And then, of course, we've changed the new unit minimum baseline from 5,000 units to 1,000 units. So let's talk about this from a practical standpoint and how it actually works out in terms of the renewal bands for first-time renewals and how it plays into the overall calculation of the eligible rebate credits. So as you see here, we have four renewal bands. The first renewal band is 0 to 45%. Renewal band 2 is 45 to 58%. Renewal band 3 is 58 to 72%. And renewal band 4 is 72% and above. So in addition to that, we have the different reward tiers that will be available as a part of the new unit program. And this will be built out into 3 primary tiers. We have Tier 1 from 100% to 104.9%, Tier 2 105 to 109.9%, and Tier 3 110% and above. So the renewal bands and the tiers work together in order in order to calculate the rebate credit you are eligible for. So first we see, not coming up. One moment, some technical difficulties. There we go. There's renewal band 1, renewal band 2, 3, and 4 as it's built out into the overall table. And here you see the percentages that we'll be using based on the renewal band for the first-time renewal that we benchmark by each registrar and where you fall in terms of a reward tier for the new units. So let's look at a couple of examples. So if you have a .com first-time renewal rate of 106% over your baseline and your first-time renewal rate is 68%, then you'll see that your rebate credit per unit is 43% for .com. .net as an example. So let's say your .net first-time renewal rate is 73%, and you achieve 103% over your baseline. That means that your eligible credit rebate is 34% per unit for .net. For .tv, the scenario has it where the renewal band is 56, for first-time renewal band is 56%, and this registrar achieved 125% of baseline, which this registrar would be eligible for 46% per unit rebate for each .tv incremental unit. Hopefully this makes sense and it's coming through clear. I'm not seeing any questions yet. So I'm going to move forward to put this into just another perspective, but same idea and same numbers. So let's look at how this would actually work if a registrar picked these program time periods. So for .com and .net, the selected months for the new unit program is January through March, June and July, and September, October, and November. And for .tv, they've also signed up for February through April, as well as July through September. For .com, the first-time renewal rate is 68%, and this falls into renewal band 3. And the performance versus baseline is 106%. And so then you can see that the rebate credit for this is 43% per unit as a rebate credit for .com. For .net, you have a renewal band percentage rate of 73%, which means renewal band 4. Performance versus baseline is 103%, and this means that this registrar is eligible for a 34% rebate credit, excuse me, on all new units over their baseline for .net. And then finally for .tv, the first-time renewal rate 56%, which means renewal band 2, and they've achieved 125% performance versus baseline, which means this registrar is eligible for a 46% discount on each .tv incremental unit over their baseline. So I know that this is quite different than what you have experienced before with our new unit programs, but we really do think that this does provide you with the tools and the incentives to think about how to grow your business incrementally across .com, .net, and .tv, as well as giving you the incentive to really focus on first-time renewals so that we can collectively think of how we can increase the first-time renewal rate overall. We are really excited, as I mentioned, for this program to get underway starting January 1st, and I hope you are as well. What I can just say right now is that I highly encourage you to go to the VeriSign Customer Center if you have not already done so, and make sure that you download the 2011 New Unit Marketing Program Terms and Conditions, the addendums for .com and .net, as well as for .tv, to make sure that you read through the materials, that you select the flexible time periods that you'd like to choose for .com and .net, and sign the documentation and turn it back in before or by midnight tomorrow night, East Coast Standard Time.
Okay.
So with that, I've covered all the information. Are there any questions?
I think we have one question, Carla. I think we're just typing that in. 1 second. I think there's a question on the rebate slide.
Okay.
Bashar, do you want to type that in, or if you want to actually participate, let me see if I can add you. Yeah, Bashar, I think you can, I think you could speak. We can hear you.
Hello.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi, Neha. I just was able to open this panel all the way. I thought the question would be just remaining at the end. Bashar al-Abdulhadi here from KuwaitNet. Just a quick question. I didn't get the points part. Does it, each point represent a domain name from the inventory, or it's just 1,000 domain names compared to the number of domain names?
I'm not sure I'm quite following the question. Do you mean the minimum baseline of 1,000 units?
Yes. Is it the units represent domain names, or it's a percentage compared to the domain names owned by us under our portfolio?
Oh, it's the percentage of .com, .net, and .tv individually that you manage. So you have to, in order to qualify for the program, you would have to have 1,000 new registrations of .com, 1,000 new registrations of .net, and 1,000 new registrations for .tv. Now, let me clarify this for just 1 second. If you are able to achieve the .net and .com 1,000 unit baseline, or together, just for common net, it's not required for you to have the 1,000 units for .tv as well. That is actually not factored in for the ComNet program time period. And I also want to take a step back. For .tv, it's not 1,000 units, it's 100 units for the minimum baseline.
Priyanka, how did...
Very good. Yes, very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, Carla, I think we have one more question. So you guys, some of you need the URL to the customer center. I'll send that across to you. Carla, so we have some registrars online who are actually in the process of getting accredited. They're not yet VeriSign accredited. They've just completed their ComNet paperwork. How do you recommend they go about this, considering the deadline's tomorrow? How would you recommend that they actually go about handling this?
Well, the best thing I can say is once they are accredited and they are considered a full registrar, we'll need to work with them individually in terms of how we can sign them up for the program.
Okay.
It really does depend on the timing of when they do sign up, or excuse me, or when their accreditation comes through.
Sure. So I think we'll connect with you specifically on a case-by-case basis if needed.
Yes.
Okay. We have one more question, which is those participating in the current fall promo, they are eligible to actually apply for this promo in 2011 as well, right?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So I think some of the registrars are already signed up for the VeriSign Fall promo, which is running currently. So they're all eligible to sign up for the 2011 promo as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. And will the rebate apply for just renewals? Actually, no. The rebate is on new registrations. Carla, if I'm correct on that?
That's correct. The rebate credit will be applied to incremental new registrations above their baseline.
Right. So unlike the other promos where the renewal rates were not considered, this is the first time that renewal rates are actually being tied into rebates on registrations. So
that's correct.
Right. So basically, we're still VeriSign still looking at the registration numbers, but there is a dependency on your renewal band.
That's correct. So the higher your first-time renewal rate by TLD, the higher your potential rebate credit for incremental units.
Got it. Do we have any other questions? Okay, I think we have one more question. Just give a sec. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can unmute Monica. Monica, are you able to participate on the call? Not sure if something. I'm going to take the question over chat. Just give me a second. Okay. Not able to see the question. Cool. So I'm not sure if Monica's still typing a question in. Just give me 1 second. I'll figure that out.
No problem.
Bashar, do you have another question in the meantime?
Yes.
Sure.
I've been contacted by David, our account manager from VeriSign, regarding the paperwork. So I replied to him actually late, which was, I believe, today morning, my morning, which is like 12 hours ago. So the deadline would be tomorrow. So I'm not sure. Are we still on the timeline that we can apply tomorrow, or we're already late?
No, the deadline is midnight on December 1st. So you have another day, essentially, East Coast time, in order to get everything worked out. I don't know what the question was with David, but have you heard back from him for clarification?
Not yet.
Not yet. Do you know David who?
David Kim, I believe.
David Kim. Okay.
Or Kim. I can pull that. Just 1 second. I'm opening my email. Is there actually some signature and scanning or faxing over some paper, or just an email confirmation?
Oh, it was email confirmation that you're enrolled?
Bashar, I think you're required to fax in the form. I think that's all they require from you.
Yeah, his name is David Kim, our account manager. David Kim from Domain Name Services Department.
Okay.
So we actually need to print, sign, and fax the paper over. So this is not done yet. So I do have today and tomorrow, or let's say tomorrow, to do this, right?
Right, but go ahead and do it today just in case.
Well, it's 11 midnight, close to midnight in Kuwait. Yeah, I'm based in Kuwait, so but I'll make sure. Yeah, tomorrow morning would be sufficient. I'll make sure that it would be processed.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks, Bashar. Carl, I have one more question from Monica, which is basically, I think the question's more with regards to how do they go about selecting the 2-month period that is flexible. So January to March is fixed, right? And the latter part of the year is again fixed as a 3-month term on both sides.
Right.
How do they actually go about selecting that 2-month period is, I think, what they want to know.
Well, it really is dependent on the registrar. So as long as they're 2 consecutive months and they look back to the performance of what they've done this year, then it's easy to calculate which would be most advantageous for them, which months to choose. So and really just look at your actuals from each 2-month time period. So for April and May, what kind of new unit performance did you have, and do you think you could build onto that incrementally in 2011 more so than what you did in 2010. And I would, look at it April, May, June, July, and July, August, in order to make that determination of when it's going to be best suited for each registrar. Because we do recognize that there's different seasonality in different parts of the world.
Right.
And, it's challenging for us to, to dictate those time periods that would be best suited for each registrar in each region. That's why we're allowing this flexibility.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. Monica, does that answer your question? Not sure. Okay. The one more question, Carla, from our side. So basically, if the renewal band and the band that you fit into, you're basically considering September to December for benchmark and then Jan to March, right?
So yes, we started September 1st through December 31st, and then for the Q1 program time period, it will go through March 31st. And then if you choose, for example, April and May as the two consecutive flexible months that you would like to promote,
right,
then that time period would be December 1st through May 31st.
Oh, okay. So that period for calculation of the renewal band also changes.
It does. So we want to try to keep it. We want to try to keep it 4 months prior to the promotional time period, and then through the program time period, giving each registrar the opportunity to increase their first-time renewal rates during the new unit program as it's running.
Got it. Got it. So I think Monica has one last question. Monica, so just to answer your question, you have the opportunity to select 3 periods in the entire 2011. So you have the first 3 months of the year, the last 3 months of the year, and a flexible 2-month period in the middle that you can actually choose from. Carla, am I correct there?
That's right. And on the terms and conditions in the paperwork, we've added a checklist that you can simply go in and, say January, February, March, and then it's got the individual, or excuse me, the two consecutive flexible months, and then you just choose one of those, and then you select the September through September, October, November time period.
Okay. Okay. And
so for Common Net, you'd have a total of 3 different boxes checked.
Right. Got it. Got it. I think we have one more question, which is when will they know the rebate? So how soon are they calculated after the end of that performance period?
So it's a 45-day period for us to calculate, and this takes into consideration any transfers. So once we get the information after 45 days, then it will be communicated to the registrars 60 days post-promotion.
Okay. Cool. Do we have any other questions? Okay, if there are any further questions, so I think a couple of them are saying thank you, Carla.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
So if there are any other questions, we'll be happy to take them offline. Feel free to send us an email, and we'll coordinate with Carla and get you the answers that you need. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we have a recording of the webinar as well, so we'll send that over in case you have other people in your team that should have a look at it. We'll be in touch. Thanks again, Carla, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Bye-bye.